Welcome back to ESBR Boxing's YouTube channel. We're delighted as always to be joined by Paul Kelly. We are reacting to the news that Deontay Wilder will fight Joseph Parker on December 23rd in Saudi Arabia. Over 2 years since Deontay Wilder's been in the ring. Joseph Parker was obviously against Simon Keane on the undercard of Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou a couple of weeks ago. Paul, good to speak to you as always. Give me your thoughts on this fight. How much are you looking forward to it?
It's kind of come out of the blue in a sense that it's a decent fight. You've got two former world heavyweight champions squaring off. Excuse me. Deontay Wilder obviously considered one of the best heavyweights in the world. People have him top three for sure. Um, Knockout artist, biggest puncher in the heavyweight division. And then you got Joseph Parker, who of course on his day I think is still a world class heavyweight, maybe just below the likes of Fury, Wilder, Joshua. Um, but yeah, still a credible heavyweight. Has shown before that he's a great fighter. But I don't know. I'm sure we'll get onto it, but it's a decent fight for me, mate. I think it's kind of come out of the blue a little bit, but I'm just glad to see Deontay Wilder back in the ring. And to be honest with you, as you mentioned there, I think his last fight was against Hellenius, which was what, one round in October 2020. Was it 2022 or 2021? Um, it was a long time ago. It was at least over a year. So it's good to see him back, and he's not getting any younger. So that'll be interesting. But yeah, I mean, I'm excited for this fight, and what a card, December 23rd, shaping up to be in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, definitely. I think yeah, you mentioned Josh Wilder's kind of lack of activity there. That Hellenius fight was October last year, and as you mentioned, only lasted around. The third Fury fight was October 2021, so over 2 years ago now. Wilder, I'm sure, will go into the fight as a favourite. But how much of a favourite do you think he should be here? Parker is a younger man. He's been more active. Deontay Wilder's just not had that activity, and there's going to be question marks about him. He's 38 years old now, just not been in the ring. Your thoughts on how much of a favourite Deontay Wilder should be here?
Yeah, mate, it's an interesting one. I know we were discussing in the group chat this as well. Um, he's definitely going to be the favorite, and I agree with that. I imagine he'll be a pretty heavy favorite, to be honest with you, like as in no value and backing type of favorite, really, which isn't totally right. If you as those things you mentioned there, hasn't fought in over a year, has only had two fights in what, basically 2.5 years. Um, and then you look at he's 30, what, 37, 38, he's late 30s, he's inactive. Um, but at the same time, yeah, he's obviously got that equalizer in the right hand and is a frightening puncher. But yeah, I mean, it is interesting. I think he'll probably be a bigger favorite than, or personally, I think he should be. I don't know what your thoughts are on it, Elliot, but I think he'll probably be a little bit of a wider favorite than we imagine, just because obviously Joseph Parker has lost to Joshua, lost to White. He lost to Joe Joyce as well. But he does have some good wins in there, Joseph Parker. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see the odds. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's without the inactivity, Wilder's just such a strong favourite, and I think he should be. I think there is an argument to say, and we've had this discussion before, when you look at Deontay Wilder's best wins, who are they against? Because obviously Luis Ortiz, Dominic Brazil, when you take those two guys out of there, there's not a lot to go off. And Joseph Parker, in my opinion, behind Luis Ortiz would probably be Deontay Wilder's best win, and that's despite having nearly 50 fights, facing Tyson Fury three times. He's not actually got those wins that Joshua has in his CV, that Tyson Fury has in his CV. So we'll see. However, I just think Parker. I think Parker is a solid top 15 heavyweight, and he's former world champion, but we've seen he has just stepped up to a certain level in his career and fallen short each time. So Deontay Wilder will be and should be a strong favourite in my opinion. But we'll see. I'm sure we'll look at some odds as we always do, and we'll both probably lose some money, and then we'll talk about the next fight. Do want to ask you, Paul, what you actually think is going to happen here. I know I do feel like this is a tricky question to ask because you don't know what Wilder's going to turn up. I do think there's a chance here the fight could start, and and everyone thinks, oh shit, Wilder looks a bit old here. Wilder looks past his best. He's the inactivity's done him no good. The Fury fights have taken out of him. Joseph Parker has been active. He obviously had that loss against Joe Joyce last year, but he's actually been active this year. If you had to give a prediction now, which way are you going?
Yeah, man, I am going Wilder, and of course I am going stoppage. But I'd say it might go a few rounds more than people are maybe anticipating. I don't think he'll blow Joseph Parker away there within a round or two. I'd go maybe somewhere around round six or so. And do you know what, mate? The caveat that point as well, it would not surprise me if Joseph Parker was, 4-0 up in rounds, 5-0 up in rounds, 4-1, whatever it is, winning the fight anyway. And then gets caught because Joseph Parker's quick. He's quite quick and nimble heavyweight. He moves well, which probably isn't perfect for Deontay Wilder. If he's going to be, if you're Joseph Parker, you're going to stay away from that right hand at all costs. So he's going to be moving in and out, which isn't ideal for Wilder. But let's be honest, just like Ortiz and a few of his other fights, Wilder's been losing fight. Even Artur Spilka, you look at that fight, and Deontay Wilder was losing the fight on points, and then but you just knew the knockout was coming, didn't you? I think it's one of those things. I think maybe around the middle rounds that Wilder will secure a knockout, but would not surprise me one bit if he was behind on the cards at the time of the stoppage.
Yeah, and look, Joseph Parker he's a very tough man. Went 12 rounds with Joshua in quite a technical fight. Went 12 rounds with what I would describe a prime Dillian White. Knocked Dillian White down later on in that fight. And look, he went. Was it round 11? Got stopped against Joe Joyce. He's a very tough man, and it's an intriguing one here. It's a fight that perhaps a year ago, I'm not sure many people would have predicted happening, but for me, I know we want to see the Wilder Joshua fight. That's what we were expecting to happen. But it's nice to see Wilder against a legit top 15, top 10 heavyweight who is also a former world champion. When you look at how, it did take him kind of 40 odd fights to step up. So that is refreshing to see. Prediction wise, I'm going to join you, but I may change my mind just because I've got a voice in the back of my head that's saying what's left of Wilder. He's not guaranteed to be the Wilder that he was 4 or 5 years ago. He's really not. But at the same time, yeah, I would go for Josh. I would go for Wilder. Sorry, yeah, mid kind of rounds 5 to 7. But we will see. I'm really looking forward to it. Paul, good to be joined by you as always. Yeah, big card on December 23rd. And yeah, look forward to discussing other things involved in that card with you very soon. All the best. I'll speak to you soon.
Yes, mate. All the best. Cheers.